Hello and welcome to livealittlehigher.com. This week we read Parasha Mishpatim, and this is a very special parasha, like every other parasha, but this is very special parasha because we not only are reading Mishpatim, which are the laws that make us holy. This is, even though they seem very humane and very physical laws about the behavior between a human being with a human being. In relation, this is what makes a person holy. It's the way he behaves towards other people. And then it's also Shabbat Shekalim, in which we read the maftir of Shekalim. And Shekalim is what the Jewish people used to give. It was like a tax that the Jewish people used to give, that they used to give half a shekel for the construction of the temple. And then also it's a very extra charged special Shabbat because this Shabbos we are celebrating Rosh Chodesh Adar, which is a month in which we increase in our joy. It's a month in which we have to really work on being happy, and it's a very special month. It's a month of the holiday of Purim, in which the Jewish people were saved from complete annihilation. So from the book in the commentaries of the parasha, Rabbi Benjamin Eisenberger Shlita, his book Likrat Shabbat, which is, for me, it's really a treasure of a book. It's really beautiful. Every insight he gives us is really a life lesson. And so this week he's really focusing on the maftir of the week, of the maftir of Shekalim. And we see that we have this mitzvah to read about the mitzvah of Mahatzit HaShekel, the giving of the donation of a half a shekel. And this half a shekel was donated in the times of the temple, as I said before. They were really, when in the Mishkan, when they were building the Mishkan, that Hashem asked the Jewish people to give half a shekel. Everybody had to give the same, the rich, the poor. Everybody had to give the same. Wherefore, the reason for this half a shekel was to construct the sockets of the Mishkan. Later on, when the temples were built, this half a shekel, this tax, was used to buy the sacrifices that were offered in the altar. So we see here that the half a shekel gives us a very important lesson in life. The fact of our giving, the half a shekel has a lot of meaning. Why half a shekel? Why people didn't give 1 shekel? Like, it would make more sense, give $1, not 50 cents, right? So the reason for the half a shekel was because half a shekel represents that if I give half and you give half, we make a whole. That nobody is complete without the other. This is the idea of half a shekel, that the rich and the poor alike, if they don't complement each other, we are not complete. And so this giving of a half a shekel really gave the Jewish people that awareness and that inspiration, that power to understand that life is not about me and it's not about you, it's about we. Life is about being together and being united. We need to be united one with the other to be able to be complete. So that's why, for example, you need a husband and a wife, because each one gives half to the relationship. Like, if you have a person living alone all his life, he's not complete. He can't complete himself. So the wife complements the husband, and the husband complements the wife. And by each one giving what they have to give to the table, then they make one whole. It's more, when a couple is under the chuppah, the rabbi always reminds them that they're half of the soul of the other person, that it's half a soul. Until a person doesn't get married, he's not complete. So this giving of the Mahatzit HaShekel sees that everybody has inherent value. We see that everybody has purpose, everybody has meaning, every person, even if he looks like a nobody, he has something to give to the world. He has something to make the world a better place. And as great and accomplished as we can become, like a person can be so accomplished, very successful in his personal life, in his business, whatsoever, he is not complete without the rest of the world. So in order to be complete or to complete anything else that we strive to do, we need to unite one with the other. People need to be united. Unity of the people of Israel is the most important characteristic of the Jewish people. Like, if we are not united for a bigger cause, then really protection is not so strong. To be really protected, we need to be united. And there's a story of one of the Rebbes that the two sons were climbing a very, very high tree, and he was like out of breath looking at the kids going up. And the wife was like very hesitant. He was like, tell them to come down. And he says, no, wait. And he was seeing how the two children were helping each other go up and higher. When he saw that they were helping each other, he says, don't worry, nothing bad is going to happen to them, because they're together. They're working together. When people are united, that's when they have the most power. So the second teaching, the second lesson that we derive from the concept of the giving of the shekalim is that the fact that everyone gives a coin of the same value. As I said before, nobody gave more, nobody gave less. Each person gave exactly the same amount. The rich, the poor, the old, the young, it didn't matter. The pretty, the ugly, it didn't matter. Everybody had to give the same. So it says here, the fact that no one is allowed to give a different value, that only a single uniform value and coin can be accepted, also brings about unity, akdut. Because when we work together and we give the same, there's a sense that we're all equal. We're all the same. You know, when you go to a cemetery, or when you go to the hospital, to the baby ward when people are born, and you see all the babies one next to the other, they're all the same. It doesn't matter, they're all the same. And when you go to the cemetery and you see the lines of the graves, also, nobody's looking who was the rich one, who was the poor one, who was the tall one, who was the short one, who was the successful one. They're all the same. Everybody's the same. So this idea of the half a shekel, the mahatzitz hashekel, gives us that lesson too, that we're all equal in our giving into the world, in our purpose in the world, in our legacy to the world. So we see here that when people have machlokets, when people have disunity, when they're fighting, and people start feeling superior one to the other, reality, that's the only reason people would fight is because they feel better than the other one. And we see here that the fact that a wealthy person is not allowed to bring more than the poor person, and a poor person is not allowed to bring less than the rich person, also establishes the meaning of unity. We're all the same. In the eyes of Hashem, we are all one and the same. So the third lesson that we derive from this maftir of this week of the shekalim is the idea that it was one project, one goal. People have to be united for one purpose. That's what makes people get together and be united, is when they have a higher purpose that they have to reach their goals to. When people are reaching the same goal, then they're united, they work together, they have teamwork, and this is what makes people successful. So we see here that they all donated together the same amount, and was originally given for the sockets, as I said before, for the terumas adamim, the sockets. This was a donation given for the foundation of the Mishkan. This is what held the columns of the Mishkan and later on of the temples. And we see here that these were the silver bases that that were able to hold the wooden wall segments in the Mishkan, and the adanim, which are the sockets, are the foundation, are the unity of the Mishkan. This is what makes the Mishkan be united. Like if you go into your house, you have special columns that you cannot take away from the house, because if not, the house will collapse. This is what sustains the structure. So if you're gonna gut the whole place and you're gonna make a different architectural plan, this structure, these columns that sustain that house cannot be broken down, because the whole thing will come down. The same thing here with the Mishkan. This half a shekel was given for that foundation, to give what would hold the Mishkan together, and later on the Beit HaMikdash. So after the Mishkan was built, the Mahatzitz HaShekel was given as a donation to buy the Korban Tzibur, to get the animals that were needed for the sacrifices. So these three lessons of the Mahatzitz HaShekel, the fact that it's half, that it's not one, but it's half, the fact that everybody contributed equally, no one gave more, nobody gave less, and the fact that everyone contributed towards one same project, one goal for the purpose of achieving and accomplishing one joint thing, brings us to Achdus. And in reality, when we come to the month of Adar, this is also a concept of this month. Like, the Jewish people were saved from Haman and Ahashverosh and those evil decrees because they got united, they got together. And at the end, when they got together, then nobody could, not even a decree could eliminate them. So we find here that the Vilna Gaon teaches us something beautiful, a beautiful lesson about this half a shekel, this Hashras HaShehina, about the unity and about having the Shehina within us, having the divine presence within us. So the resting of the divine presence, the Gaon says, we tend to think that the Shehina in the Beit HaMikdash was because of the Beit HaMikdash. We think that because we built this beautiful edifice for Hashem, the Shehina of Hashem was able to live within it. So it says here that in the Mishkan, it was because of the Mishkan. In the times of the desert, when they had the Mishkan, they thought that the divine presence was with them because of the Mishkan. And we assume that Hashem found the beautiful construction and the kelim, the vessels, appropriate and suitable for His presence to dwell within. But the Vilna Gaon says, no, that's not the truth. That's not what the unity of the unity and the coming of the Shehina really means. It means that He said, make me a sanctuary and I will dwell amongst you. He didn't say, make me a sanctuary and I will dwell in it. He says, build me a sanctuary and I will dwell within you. So the Gaon teaches, the Gaon of Vilna teaches us that the Shehina, the divine presence, resting on the Beit HaMikdash was actually because of the unity of Am Israel. The true reason that the divine presence is amongst us is when there's unity and there's peace, there's shalom bait within us. A home can be a beautiful home, can be an architectural digest type of home, the most beautiful, exquisite house. You can have kosher kitchen, milk and meat, and you can have the most beautiful dishes for Shabbat, and you can have the most exquisite place. But if in that home there's no peace, there's no unity, there's no sense of I'm half and you're half and we're working together towards something, and there's strife and machlokets and fighting, as beautiful as this home can be, the Shehina, the divine presence, is not going to dwell there. So wherever Am Israel unite, we have united or will unite with a true and pure unity, who is like your people, Israel, one nation in the land. There we have the divine presence amongst us. And the Gaon says that wherever there is Akdut, wherever there is unity, there will be merit to the divine presence. And the Mishkan was the place where this unity was mostly felt, because everybody was working towards that. Everybody was working towards building this beautiful edifice. Everybody was giving of themselves. The people who were rich were giving their jewels, and the women gave their mirrors, and the people were embroidering the curtains, and everybody was working together for a common cause. So So the half a shekel represents, accomplished this because of all of Am Israel gave for one purpose. People were giving for one purpose, and they shared one purpose and one goal. And so we find here that everyone, every single Jew, if everybody of us, of our people, would be working towards the same goal, which would be to bring the revelation of Hashem into this world, everybody would be busy making God felt in the world, then, and we would be working towards this together, then really we wouldn't have coronavirus, we wouldn't have all these issues we have today that we have to confront. Everything would disappear. It would just disappear, because once the world is working together for the same cause, then the rest is not needed. It's not needed. If you think about it, all these things that happen in the world have one reason and one reason only. It is for people to work together to find solutions and find a way out. Not to be one against the other, bringing these people upset about people who wear masks and people upset because others don't wear masks. That's a crazy thing. People should be working together to bring the Geula, to bring redemption. And the only way to bring the Shekhinah, the divine presence, into your life, and a more felt divine presence with the coming of Mashiach, is if everybody is working for the same purpose and everybody's giving the same. So I want to wish you a blessed week, and remember, live a little higher. Thank you.